Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is why the Lakers remain the number one threat to the Clippers this season. So that's the topic I'm going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro community, which is coming out on February 1st, if I'm not mistaken, and also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com, which will be coming out after that. So we have a lot of things coming down the turnpike. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So last night, I was watching a little of that Laker game versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? I caught the game towards the end of the third quarter and late fourth quarter. I saw it was a pretty close game, but the Cavs have been playing teams pretty close recently. They just beat the Nets 2 times in a row, and they're just a team that fights hard and they can execute. For a pretty young team, that team knows how to execute. But I was watching the Lakers and watching the last moments of that game. I was really, I posted a comment on the community on the channel where I just said the Lakers were playing great defense. Now, obviously, again, this is one of the reasons why we create this platform, so we can all engage in real time, so we don't have to be posted on the channel. It's not really proper to be, and it's kind of messy. But anyway, I was just impressed by how they were playing. But most importantly, I was impressed with LeBron. LeBron finished that game last night with 46 points, and to be at that age, to be performing at this level, man, it's just really remarkable. But anyway, let me get into the Lakers. So the Lakers, as we know, they're fresh off of a championship. LeBron is fresh off of his 4th NBA title and his 4th Finals MVP. So the guy, LeBron is, no matter where you have him, he must be in the top 10 of all time, right? Some people have him in top 5, some people have him in the bottom 5. Wherever he is, he must be in the top 10. There's no way you can omit. There's no way you can have a top 10 list of the greatest players of all time and omit LeBron James. I mean, come on, I'm not a big LeBron fan, but I respect his game. I know how good he is, and also I respect his dedication to his craft. Most importantly, that's what I respect the most about him, is just how seriously he takes his work. Yesterday, we did a video when I was talking about Lou Williams. You can never hear a story about like LeBron James like you will hear about Lou Williams. You'll never hear a story like that. And LeBron James and Lou Williams, let me see. Lou Williams is 34 years old. LeBron can't be 40. LeBron is 36, 2 years older. And LeBron, ladies and gentlemen, seems to be an adult, while Lou Williams. Anyway, let me get off of Lou Williams. Some people said I went a little bit too hard on him. But you can never see something like this with LeBron, because LeBron is focused. And that's the reason where, it plays a big role for how far he's gone in his career. Anyway, the Lakers were able to make some offseason moves. Some players left, like the Danny Greens of the world, the Dwight Howards of the world, JaVale McGee, who was actually playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, if I'm not mistaken. He was there last night. I saw him playing there. But they brought in some new guys. Dennis Schroeder, who's a point guard who can score, but also facilitate a game play, make plays. They got Montrezl Harrell, who is just a rim roller, a power forward, undersized power forward, but that can get you a lot of buckets and sometimes can get you a double-double out there, plays with a lot of energy, that type of guy. And they got Marc Gasol and some other players that the Lakers were able to add to their roster. They still have a great defensive-minded coach in Frank Vogel, who now has a championship ring under his belt. So now he knows that his system works, and his methodology of coaching works. So they have that going into the season. Now, granted, the Lakers did start off the season with a soft schedule. They did. Let's just be honest. They didn't play that many good teams. Although they did start off the season playing the Clippers. They did play them, and I think they played them on opening night, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they did. So that was one of the tough teams they played. I think they played the Spurs. I think they played the Warriors. Excuse me. Up until this point, they played some decent teams. However, the mark of a serious team is a team that goes out there and beats the teams that they're supposed to, right? Give them credit, because there were some teams in the past that would drop games to teams that they're not supposed to. So they've beaten who is in front of them. And in my opinion, LeBron James is one of the leading candidates for regular season MVP. Some people are throwing out there Joel Embiid. But for me, LeBron, I think LeBron is at the top of the, LeBron and Kawhi are trading that 1 and 2 spot. If you look at his season, if you look at his numbers this season, he's averaging 25 points per game, 7.9 rebounds, 7.4 assists. What's really impressive is his shooting, though. He's shooting 50% from the field and 40% from the 3 in 18 games. That's impressive, right? For the past 6, 7, 8 years, LeBron has not shot close to 40%. So, last season he shot 35. So He's doing well. He's shooting above 70%, which he hasn't done in over 2 seasons. And he's getting you close to a steal a game. But again, you have to take his age into account. You factor that in. For this guy to be performing at this level at this age, it's truly remarkable, and he has his team in the top of the conference. Again, the Lakers and the Clippers are trading the top spot, right? Now the Lakers have a 14-4 record. They won 3 in a row, and now they're back at the number 1 spot. The Clippers are going to be on the road for the next 6 games, and there's a story that came out that said their key players like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are not going to be available, I think, for some COVID protocols. Now, what I don't know is just how long exactly they're going to be out. That I don't know, but I still think the Clippers are good enough, even if none of their stars join them on this road, right? On the road trip, or maybe only one of them is there. Maybe Kawhi comes back and Paul PG, I don't know. I think they're good enough to go at least 4-2 on that road trip. But if both of their stars are healthy, I predicted they will go 5-1. They may drop one of those games. I don't know which one it is. It may be that Cleveland game. Who knows? Anyway. So that's the current situation with the Lakers and LeBron. As I said, he's doing this thing. Now, if we look at the Lakers team stats, they're the better defensive team. I don't even think it's a question. Although the Clippers have been improving their defense, but let me just give you guys the point differential with the Lakers. The Lakers have a 10-point differential with their opponents. They're scoring 114.3 points per game, giving up 104.5. That's a 10-point differential. That's a healthy margin that they're beating these teams by. Now, some people said, again, maybe that they're playing weaker teams, but nevertheless, they're still beating the teams that they're supposed to. If you look at the Clippers, however, they've been improving their defense. They have 114.8. They're scoring 115 per game, and they're giving up 107. So the point differential is a little bit different. The Lakers are still holding their teams closer to that 100-point mark, which I would like to see the Clippers do. But in the Clippers' credit, they've been bringing that number down. Now it's 107.2. Before, I remember it was like 108.9 or something. I would like to see that number come down close to 103, 102. Then they'll be doing pretty good. But with their key stars out with Patrick Beverley, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, it's definitely going to affect their defense. But let's see how they continue to perform as the season goes on. Now, on the Clippers, on the other hand, they've been pretty red hot. They won the last 7 games in a row, which has been pretty impressive. I think maybe the most they went on last season was a 7-game winning streak, or 6. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a stat out there somebody can hunt down. But the Clippers have been winning the games. They've been doing their thing. They won some. The last game they won, it was an ugly game. Most of everybody didn't shoot well, with the exception of Kawhi Leonard, who just balled. Right, he balled out. And there's 2 stars that just having a sensational season. Again, if you look at Kawhi, he's averaging 26 points per game, shooting a legitimate 50% from the field, shooting 42% from the 3, 90% from the free throw line, getting you 5.4 rebounds and 5.7 assists, which is a career high for him, and getting you 2 steals per game. I said before, and I'll say it again, I think Kawhi Leonard is one of the leading candidates for Defensive Player of the Year, and also an MVP. I have him right up there with LeBron James. Now, his co-star, Paul George, is also having a 50-40-90 season. So both of these guys are having a 50-40-90 season. Paul George is averaging 24 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 5.4 assists, but he's shooting 50% of the field like his co-star Kawhi Leonard. Just to show you that these guys are just flat-out shooters. He's shooting 48% from the 3, which is just out of this world, and he's shooting 90% from the free throw line and getting you 1.2 steals. So I think this Clippers duo is doing their thing. Their offense is in the top 5 in the NBA. Their defense hasn't been improving, as I've said, but it's not yet at the level of the Lakers. But I think the Clippers are beginning to build those defensive habits, because they definitely have the personnel to be a great defensive team. Now they just have to ramp up their defense, but you don't want to ramp up too soon, which was one of the concerns that some viewers have had. Like, listen, we don't want them to peak too soon, but I don't think they have the defensive habits yet down packed to be able to say that they've peaked already, although they won 7 games in a row. I just think that they're doing some things pretty good, which is causing them to win some games, but nevertheless, they can still definitely improve on the defensive end of the floor. Now, I've mentioned before, and I'm going to say it again, which rubs some people the wrong way, but that's really up to you. I don't think AD is playing up to what the level that he was playing last year. I don't think it's debatable. Go and look at his numbers. Go look at his productivity. He's averaging 22 points per game this season, shooting 52% from the field. That's fine. 35% from the 3. That's great. 73.6% from the free throw line, getting you 8.9 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.9 blocks. Now, some people may say these are great numbers. For an Anthony Davis, they're really not. Last season, he averaged 26 points per game. Again, he shot 50% from the field, 33% from the 3-point line. He shot about 10 percentage points better 9 percentage points better from the free throw line, 84.6% last season. He got more rebounds last season. He got just about the same steals and a little bit more in blocks, but as I said before, Anthony Davis is 27 years old. There's no reason that LeBron James should need to be out there putting up 40-plus point games, although he's capable of doing it, but not when you have a young guy like that on your team. LeBron doesn't need to be doing all that work. And to be quite honest with you, LeBron has carried that team this year. Some people felt a kind of way about it. That's really your business, to be honest with you. Anthony Davis is not playing up to the level that he should. He should be, number one. Number two, he's not the second best player, nor the third best player, nor the fourth best player in the world. I don't even think that's in question. I can give you the top 4 players in the NBA right now, and I don't think anybody with some sense is going to dispute that. You have LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Stephen Curry. He is not better than any of these players, period, end of story. So when people were saying that he's a top 2 player in the world, that's just recency bias. It's not. We've never seen him do anything on his own. Anything at all on his own. Never even took his team to a conference finals. The guys before him are much more decorated than he is. You can't even put him in the same classroom with KD. I don't even think it's a question. Kawhi Leonard, it's not even a question because Kawhi Leonard has led teams as the man. I don't know what team AD has led. Some people felt the kind of way that I said he rode the coattails of LeBron James. Let me tell you something. The question is, yes, could he have won that title without LeBron? Could LeBron have won that title without AD? No. No one is disputing that he couldn't have. But LeBron was already in the top 5, top 10 of all time before him and AD stepped on the court. What was AD? Is AD in the top 30? Top 40? Come on. So please, so when people are feeling that type of way, let's just be honest. AD is not, I just said I don't believe he's that dude. I just don't think he has the mentality to be that dude. Now, listen, the Lakers are still the number 1 threat. The title goes to them. If the Clippers win the NBA title, simple and plain, beat the Lakers. If you can't beat them, you won't win. It's that simple, right? And some people have kind of been a little bit trepidatious about the Clippers thus far. You see it in power rankings, they're not putting them in the top. You put them in number 1. Oh, no. Recently, Bleacher Report put them in number 1 recently, but for the majority of the season, they were not the number one spot, depending on how they're doing these 6 games on the road, missing some of their key players. That may affect their standing and also affect their record. But for me, if the Clippers want to win the NBA title, it goes to the Lakers, plain and simple. That's just how it works. Traditionally, you beat the champ until you knock off the champ. They're still the champ. And to me, I think these are the 2 best teams in the NBA, and they're showing it right now. And the Lakers are still the number 1 threat. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree that the Lakers are a serious threat and the number 1 threat to the Clippers, or do you think it's some other team, maybe like the Utah Jazz or some others? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the next video we have coming up. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamers Pro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.